Hey, fellow YouTubers, hey, fellow targeted individuals or survivors of non-consensual human experimentation. It's August 18th, 2018, and I got my webcam and some software for screen sharing. So I wanted to go ahead and do a short video today. I just this is how being targeted feels. Basically, I just did a video. Um, I just did a video, and it was about an hour and 45 minutes to 2 hours doing what I'm about to do now. And my attackers just closed out the recording when I wasn't paying attention. So I was just sitting there talking for about an hour and 45 minutes, and it wasn't recording. So I have to do it all over again. And I did a really good job the first time. I hope you guys are doing okay out there or surviving this. I know this stuff is just beyond horrific and there's no words to describe it at all. But I do want to just get some important information out there and connect some dots. I know non-TIs need to connect some dots that we've already connected, but then we need to connect further dots to have better evidence. Even though people should react when people are being tortured and murdered, people should just react to that. But we all know how complicated this is, and nobody's really helping us, and even throwing us in mental institutions. When we tell the truth and just ask for help. So double, triple, quadruple victimized, a million times victimized. But let me just read this. This is from Synesis, Journal of Science, Technology, Ethics, and Policies on neurotechnologies as weapons in national intelligence and defense, an overview. Watching James Giordano's video, and if you haven't watched that, and I'll probably, I'm that video right there, when people ask me, why are they doing this? Why are they targeting us? Is it just because they're torturing us? And, is it just to feed the surveillance state? Is it just for money? When you learn about neurotechnologies and neuroscience being weaponized and neuroweapons, especially when I saw from brain science from bench to battlefield, I'd already known a lot of that stuff. Brian too talks about it. I've experienced it and researched it myself about remote neural manipulation and protocols for trauma-based behavioral control and things like that. But that video, Brain Science from Bench to Battlefield, really solidified it, of what the centerpiece for all this is, why there's so much money involved, why countries are sacrificing their own citizens, for such a powerful technology, and to learn more about the brain and the nervous system. But let me go ahead, and I'm going to read an article by James Giordano later. I keep checking to see if the video is still going, because they just shut it off. Like I can't find that 2 hours that I was just sitting there and making the video. But this is going to be good. Like, I have my hands free. It's a lot better than me having to hold a phone up to my face. So I think this is going to work out good, and I'll be able to get some good information out there. Abstract. Advances in neuroscience and neurotechnology have necessitated discussions on the ways that such developments could be used as weapons in contexts of national security, intelligence, and defense. This paper defines the concept of neuroweapons and elucidates operational issues associated with their use to aid informational and strategic intelligence, such as brain-machine interfaces, and brain-machine interfaces to improve efficiency in data analysis, as well exploration in neuropharmacologic, neuromicrobiological, and neurotoxic agents are discussed relevant to their utility in combat scenarios. The limitations of emerging neurotechnologies as weapons are addressed, as both regards practical and operational frameworks and implications relevant to formulation of ethico-legal guidelines and governance of research, development, and potential use. There's no ethics and legality being put forth in the torture and the experimentation that we're going through. So let me go down a little bit here and just read some of this here. And this is from Synesis, Neurotechnologies as Weapons in National Intelligence and Defense, an overview. What is a neuroweapon? A weapon is defined as, quotations, a means of contending against another and something used to injure, defeat, or destroy. 2. Both definitions apply to neurotechnologies used as weapons in intelligence and/or defense scenarios. Neurotechnology can support intelligence activities by targeting information and technology infrastructures to either enhance or deter accurate intelligence assessment. The ability to efficiently handle amassed complex data and human tactical or strategic efforts. The objectives for neuroweapons in a traditional defense context, e.g. combat, may be achieved by altering, i.e. either augmenting or degrading functions of the nervous system so as to affect cognitive, emotional, and/or motor activity and capability, e.g. perception, judgment, morale, pain tolerance, or physical abilities and stamina. Many technologies, e.g. neurotropic drugs, interventional neurostimulatory devices can be employed to produce these results. So I want to read that last part over again because it's really important. I want to just check. I'm just thinking they're going to shut it off. Keep thinking they're going to just shut it off like they did last time. This is going to be a battle. And the reason I've been using my phone and doing like 15-minute cuts is because I can't upload on YouTube on my computer. So I'm going to have to really fight to upload my videos to YouTube. And I really hope this works. I hope I can just find a way, because I like just being able to talk as long as I want. Not, I never realized, I always thought my attackers, would not let me upload to YouTube just to mess with me, just some sort of psyop or whatever. But it really, having to go to the phone to do all my videos and upload them on the phone, it kept me from kind of moving forward and making better videos. And so I want to do that. I want to break through what my attackers are doing, so we can keep moving forward. And a lot of other people are doing a lot of great stuff, not just with videos and things like that, but with activism. So I want to throw in there. But I want to read that last part again. The objectives for neuroweapons in a traditional defense context, e.g. combat, may be achieved by altering, i.e. either augmenting or degrading functions of the nervous system so as to affect cognitive, emotional, and/or motor activity and capability, e.g. perception, judgment, morale, pain tolerance, or physical abilities and stamina. Many technologies, e.g. neurotropic drugs, and then semicolon, interventional neurostimulatory devices. So interventional neurostimulatory devices would be like electromagnetic pulses to the head by like a directed energy weapon system, remote neural manipulation, that bidirectional stream of energy that goes to our head. It goes to the nerves and the eyes and the ears, and also lights up photons in the brain. There's many different, I think there's many different ways that they do that, like transcranial stimulation, that they do the electromagnetic pulses. So let's see if there was anything else in this article. It may, I don't think I'm going to go for an hour and 45 minutes, but I do want to put something out today because I went and got the webcamera today, and I wanted to get something out there. I may actually, let's see if I can upload it. Well, we'll cross that bridge when we get there. Yeah, I guess this is good. As implements that target, measure, interact with, or stimulate nervous system function and processes, the use of neurotechnologies as weapons are by no means a new innovation per se. Historically, such weapons have included nerve gas and various drugs. Weaponized gas has taken several forms: lacrimatory agents, aka tear gases, toxic irritants, e.g. phosgene, chlorine, vesicants, blistering agents, e.g. mustard gas, and paralytics, e.g. sarin. These may seem crude when compared to the capabilities of more sophisticated approaches that can be used today or in the near future. Pharmacological stimulants, e.g. amphetamines, and various ergogenics, e.g. anabolic steroids, have been used to augment combatant vigilance, and sedatives, e.g. barbiturates, have been employed to alter cognitive inhibition and facilitate cooperation during interrogation. Sensory stimuli have been applied as neuroweapons, some to directly transmit excessively intense amounts of energy to be transduced by a sensory modality, e.g. sonic weaponry to incapacitate the enemy. So while others cause harm by exceeding the thresholds and limits of tolerable experience by acting at a level of conscious perception, e.g. prolonged flashing lights, irritating music, and sleep deprivation to decrease resistance to interrogation. Even the distribution of emotionally provocative propaganda as psychological warfare could be considered to be an indirect form of neuroweapon. And it's kind of ironic that they put that on the end there, because with remote neural manipulation, as a lot of target individuals know, they do use neuro-linguistic programming, things that only subconscious picks up, audible voice to skull, which you can hear, which say things that are like propaganda over and over and over and over again. And also with remote neural manipulation, can also inject imagery into the visual cortex, can mess with emotions and stuff like that, but can actually, when they inject visual into the visual cortex, it can be something disturbing, morbid, bizarre, something that makes you feel uncomfortable or something like that. So they've taken these older forms of psyop or psychological warfare and put them together with newer forms of neurotechnology. And this article is just factually stating it. I mean, the facts are out there, so that's what I'm going to be working on, is getting facts out there and documentation that we can all see, and people who are not directly targeted, because you are targeted in a lot of ways. Everybody is targeted in a lot of ways on this earth. But so that you can put 2 and 2 together and come out with 4. I know that that's not happening in the world today. I know that people are coming out with 5 and 3 and stuff like that because the world's crazy. And I sometimes say, is everybody taking crazy pills? Where are my crazy pills? I'm just being murdered. But we're getting there. We've got to get back to connecting dots and saying 2 + 2 is 4, instead of the way the world works now, where people are being murdered and they get thrown in mental institutions because people can't take time to look at the technology that's right in front of their faces and know that it will be used on them. It will be used on if you are a non-target individual, it's coming to you. If we don't stop it and bring it out into the light, it's just coming to you next. So I do want to read that again, though. Sensory stimuli have been applied as neuroweapons, some to directly transmit excessively intense amounts of energy to be transduced by a sensory modality. So intense amounts of directed energy from directed energy weapon systems, screwing up sensory input. Sensory modality, the eyes and the ears are sensory modality, pathways to the brain. So they're just saying like, intense amounts of energy transduced, to the brain, to impair cognition, to do certain things, to connect with the brain. And anybody who's experienced remote neural manipulation from their targeting knows that. They use in these articles, what I've noticed is they use a lot of politically correct terms, and they make it super effing boring. So the general public won't really be interested in it. So I'll try and make it as interesting as I can. I don't know. Okay, I think that's all I wanted to show y'all on that article. And then I don't want to go there. I want to first go to this. Okay, So this is the guy, James G. Adorno, right here, the bald-headed guy who's smiling a little bit too wide. I'd kind of like to bust his fucking teeth out, you know, because he was an advisor to the Pentagon. He has, you know, other scientists that he's friends with, worked at DARPA on a lot of other projects. He does talk about ethics of this and everything, but he has to know that human research is being done on it right now. I mean, the way that he talks about it, he talks about getting ahead of the pack by doing immoral things, and the way he talks about the cat's already out of the bag. And I think I might, you know, since I do have this cool screen sharing and web camera, I'm going to try and use as much as I can and get out as much information as I possibly can. I may actually just do a video, you know, because I'm going to have to get them out in long videos. I can't upload them on my phone. So I might actually go back to Brain Science from Bench to Battlefield and just play the whole thing through. And when he says something important that I need to editorialize, you know, stop it there. I might do that, but I'll do it a lot later since I just did another video on it. But okay, so James G. Adorno is a professor of neurology, chief of Neuroethics Studies Program, and co-director of the Neil Pellegrino Program in Brain Science and Global Health Law and Policy at, I think it's Georgetown University. But I'm actually gonna play that video right now, if I have it up. See, because I closed everything out and then I reopened. You know what? There it is. Okay. I actually do want to just play this beginning part of it.
Organism that is an integration of bio.
He's a professor in the development of neurobiology and biochemistry. He's a chief of Neuroethics Studies Program and the co-director of the O'Neill Pellegrino Program in Brain Science and the Global Health Law and Policy at Georgetown University. He served on the joint staff of the Pentagon, and in this area he heads up the EU Human Brain Project.
Heads up the EU Brain Project. He served on the joint staff of the Pentagon for neuroweapons in this area, neuroweapons and neurotechnology. So we need to read what this guy is writing, because he's writing what they're experimenting on us. You know, he's writing about that as if it's like a new technology that they're trying to decide what they're going to do with or whatever. You know, whatever kind of bullshit. COINTELPRO, let's not tell everybody the real truth. He might, I don't know, you know, he might want ethics in this because he's, you know, they've hurt so many people. I don't know his real intentions, but I mean, I do know that if he knows that people are being experimented on and he's not speaking out, then he's a bad guy. Okay, but this is an article by him from a Bulletin of the Atomic Scientists, the Neuroweapons Threat, by James G. Adorno. I read the whole thing last time on the video y'all aren't gonna see. Oh god, I'm so pissed. Let's see if it's still going. Yes, it is still running. Okay, we'll get it this time. Oh my god, I can't believe that. Sat there for an hour and 45 minutes and it wasn't even running. Electronic cigarettes, I know I need to stop. So let me read this. It's from the Bulletin of Atomic Scientists, the Neuroweapons Threat by James G. Adorno from May 31st, 2016. Nearly 2 years ago, Juliana Pinto, a 29-year-old paraplegic man, kicked off the World Cup in Brazil with the help of a brain interface machine that allowed his thoughts to control a robotic exoskeleton. Audiences watching Pinto made his gentle kick, aided as he was by helpers and an elaborate rig, could be forgiven for not seeing much danger in the thrilling achievement. Yet like most powerful scientific breakthroughs, neurotechnologies that allow brains to control machines or machines to read or control brains inevitably bring with them the threat of weaponization and misuse, a threat that existing UN conventions designed to limit biological and chemical weapons do not yet cover, and which ethical discussions of these new technologies tend to give short shrift. It may seem like science fiction, but according to a September 2015 article in Foreign Policy, The same brain scanning machines meant to diagnose Alzheimer's disease or autism could potentially read someone's private thoughts. Computer systems attached to brain tissue that allow paralyzed patients to control robotic appendages with thought alone could also be used by a state to direct bionic soldiers or pilot aircraft, and devices designed to aid a deteriorating mind could alternatively be used to implant new memories or to extinguish existing ones in allies and enemies alike. And I'd like to say something about that there, because with my remote neural manipulation, with the bidirectional stream of energy that I have connecting with my brain and my nervous system, my attackers will get visuals from dreams and older memories of people that I knew when I was like 8 that I was good friends with. Then they will, implant, they'll implant that memory of that person or whatever in a dream with like a girl wig on or something like that, like a friend that I had when I was 8 that was a guy. So they do all this bizarre stuff and switching up, trying to mutilate memories and things like that, almost wrestling with your own visualizations sometimes and memories. I don't know if a lot of you may not have remote neural manipulation as bad as I do, because it's been 8 years that I've known when I was targeted and knew I was targeted. So it's been 8 years since then. In the remote neural manipulation, they can implant visuals, in the place of real memories, or manipulate certain memories that you're having to mutilate the memories, to mess them up and make them not the same. It does sound like science fiction, but I'm going to stop saying that because we need to get on the ball. Like everybody, even non-TIs, this is real. This is like, Wi-Fi energy, like a signal that goes to my phone. It's coming from a satellite to a cell tower, then the signal hits the phone, and I have a router back there. The router is sending signals wirelessly to my phone and the computer. Now that can be done and directed at the human brain and nervous system. It's being experimented on. Nobody believes the target individuals that it's happening to. Some people are trying to cover up. Some people do not believe us. I have some different theories about that. I think that we're believed more and more nowadays, and hopefully these videos like this and what Dr. Horton's doing and Ella and my memory is really bad. And Ramola definitely, and so many other people out there. Hopefully that's helping to make people realize that this is a reality, and it's a very, very not just dangerous reality, but horribly horrific reality for a lot of people. And so we got to get on the ball here, even non-target individuals. Even if your life seems like it's good and you don't have to deal with this stuff, this is a lottery. They're experimenting on people by chance, by lottery, by convenience. So everybody needs to know this so we can drag this information out into the public and get it away from secrecy so that people are being murdered. The full range of potential neuroweapons covers everything from stimulation devices to artificial drugs to natural toxins. Wait, did I? Oh, no, I need to read this. The technology on display in Sao Paulo, pioneered by Miguel Nicolelis of Duke University, exhibited the growing capability of neurobiotics, the study of artificial neural systems. Neurobiotics, the study of artificial neural systems. The medical benefits for amputees and other patients are obvious, yet the power to read or manipulate human brains carries with it more nefarious possibilities as well. Targeted individuals, nefarious possibilities, doing this on a massive scale, trying to behaviorally control people, trauma-based behavioral control to wipe out neural pathways and create new ones with this remote neural manipulation. Let me check and make sure that, yeah, okay. So nefarious is already happening. And this is the technology is mass produced, being used by third-party contractors to experiment more, to find out more about the brain and the nervous system and people within groups and how they react and their beliefs and different things like that, and how far you can push them to cause false flags. So, too much to all name right now, but so many different reasons for this experimentation, and then it offshoots into feeding the surveillance state and all this crap. I mean, this stuff is really a web. It is a web of evil. This is a web of evil. Yet the power to more nefarious possibilities as well. I'll just read that. More nefarious possibilities as well, and that's what target individuals, the nefarious, what is happening with this technology, foreshadowing a bold new chapter in the long history of psychological warfare and opening another front in the difficult struggle against the proliferation of exceptionally dangerous weapons. The full range of potential neuroweapons covers everything from stimulation devices to artificial drugs to natural toxins, some of which have been studied and used for decades, including militaries. Existing conventions on biological and chemical weapons have limited research on and stockpiling of certain toxins and neurobiologicals, such as ricin and anthrax, respectively. While other powerful substances and technologies, some developed for medical purposes and readily available on the commercial market, remain ungoverned by existing international rules. While other powerful substances and technologies, some developed for medical purposes and readily available on the commercial market, remain ungoverned by existing international rules. Some experts also worry about an ethics lag among science and researchers. So when they say ethics lag, it's a politically correct term for people that are doing horribly immoral things in non-consensual human experimentation. Ethics lag is maybe the worst, most politically correct term I could think of for murdering, for slaughtering, traumatizing, torturing, and mutilating brains and nervous systems of innocent citizens across the world. An ethics lag. This guy knows way too much, and I don't like how he frames everything. Like, I won't get into my personal beliefs about him, because we need to try and contact him and see, force him to help us. Not by violence, though. So about an ethics lag among scientists and researchers. As the September 2015 Foreign Policy article pointed out, a 200-page report put out last spring on the ethics of the Obama administration's BRAIN initiative didn't once mention dual use or weaponization. So a 200-page report put out last spring on the ethics of the Obama administration's BRAIN initiative that didn't once use the word dual use or weaponization. He just talked about pre-crime and being able to tell, if somebody was a bad person or going to do something bad. And I knew that was, that happened in 2008. And, when I studied it later on, I knew that was part of this worldwide program. In America, federally funded medical research with potential military applications can be regulated by dual-use research of concern policies at the National Institutes of Health, which reflect the general tenor of the Biological and Toxin Weapons Convention and the Chemical Weapons Convention. Yet these policies do not account for research in other countries or research undertaken or underwritten by non-state actors, and might actually create security concerns for the United States should they cause American efforts to lag behind those of other states hiding behind the excuse of health research or routine experimentation, or commercial entities sheltered by industry norms protecting proprietary interests and intellectual property. Alright, the video is still going. Cool. In addition to a more robust effort on the part of scientists to better understand and define the ethics of neuroscience in this new era, one obvious solution to the neuroweapons threat would be progress on the Bioweapons Convention itself. In preparation for the Biological Weapons Convention's 8th review conference at the end of this year, member states should establish a clear view of today's neuroscience and neurotechnology, a better understanding of present and future capabilities, and a realistic picture of emerging threats. They should also revise the current definitions of what constitutes a bioweapon and what is weaponizable, and set up criteria to more accurately assess and analyze neuroscience research and development going forward. I think that would be great if they brought it up at the 8th review conference and got this, to where, well, I'll read on. I've already read this once and did an editorial on it. And it's a good article, though, and this guy has got, whether he's a slime ball who knows that human experimentation is going on and is helping the Pentagon to carry out these trials, or he's, I don't see how he could be any, but he does have good information of what we're being hit with and the huge reasons and the big money involved in this. Why there's so many trillions of dollars involved in this worldwide program, why there are international third-party contractors working on it, why almost all the agencies in America and other agencies in other countries are involved in this stuff, and it's all compartmentalized. I would also argue that the United States and its allies should take the proper security precautions in the form of increased surveillance of neuroscience R&D around the world. As a preliminary measure, government monitors can develop a better understanding of the field by paying attention to tacit knowledge, the unofficial know-how that accumulates among individuals in labs and other venues where a particular science is practiced or studied. For more on tacit knowledge and arms control, see Sonia Ben Garmley's recent bulletin article about its crucial importance for the Bioweapons Convention. And my attackers are hitting me in the throat. Let me see. Yeah, and I got heat up at the top. All right, let me go on here. In a similar vein, authorities should also follow the neuroscience literature in an effort to assess trends, gauge progress, and profile emerging tools and techniques that could be enlisted for weaponization. Of course, these are only preliminary measures, easily stymied by proprietary restrictions in the case of commercial research and state secret classifications in the case of government work. Thus, deeper surveillance will require a wider effort to collect intelligence from a variety of sources and indicators, including university and industrial programs and projects that have direct dual-use applications. So this tells you who's doing this experimentation. This right here, it tells you who's involved in this, who the CIA, DIA, and DOD are getting involved in this stuff. Thus, deeper surveillance will require a wider effort to collect intelligence from a variety of sources and indicators, including university and industrial programs and projects that have direct dual-use applications, universities and corporations, third-party contractors, and universities are very involved in this research, this non-consensual research and torture on American citizens and in other countries, whatever those citizens are. In the UK, British citizens, Australian citizens, Romanian citizens, Mexican citizens, and on and on and on. At least the Five Eye country, Israeli citizens. Okay, let me move on. Let me move forward. Direct dual, governmental and private. Okay. Governmental and private investment in and support of neuroscience and neurotech R&D. Researchers and scholars with specific types of knowledge and skills, product and device commercialization, and current and near-term military postures regarding neurotechnology. So, non-TIs, you listen to me talk about this. This is not a guy he's a professor at Georgetown University, advisor on neuroweapons and neuroscience and neurotechnology to the Pentagon, and he's writing this article. So this isn't some kind of fantasy. I just want you to keep connecting dots, so you can help us to live, because we are dying. Military postures regarding neurotechnology. This type of surveillance, while requiring more nuanced and more extensive investigations, could produce highly valuable empirical models to plot realistic possibilities for the near future of neuroscience and neurotechnology. These could then be used to better anticipate threats and create contingency plans. It's important to note the danger of this type of surveillance as well. And he's talking about surveillance of these programs, of the use and experimentation of directed energy weapon systems, and also neurotoxins and biotoxins that affect the brain. A lot of targeted individuals get poisoned very badly. I think that I may get nanoparticulates and some nanotechnology maybe, but I don't get heavily poisoned. I did when I lived in a house, but now there's a camera right by my door. And a camera like out in the parking lot, so they have to be a lot more careful with me. But some people get gassed. I mean, some targeted individuals get gassed, and so they are using neurotoxins and biological agents, chemical agents, along with the directed energy weapon systems. Where was I? I don't remember. As a 2008 report by the National Academies in Washington warned, increased surveillance could lead to a kind of arms race as nations react to new developments by creating countering agents or improving upon one another's discovery. So he's saying that a block to this being open and and monitored, all the experimentation and research and development, that Russia would know how far advanced we are, and China would know how far advanced that Russia is. And really, I mean, Israel is working with the United States. They're in bed together, so that wouldn't matter. Let's see. This could be the case not only for incapacitating and I'm not going to go into all that. I may in later videos. I may actually go into the question of Israel and our really awful relationship with them. Maybe. I don't know. But there's in Israel right now, if you guys want to look it up, there's something called the Talpiot program, TALPIOT. You can look up the Talpiot program, which is an advanced technology program by the Israeli military, I think, or their intelligence agencies, and it's cyber warfare, surveillance, and then I think directed energy weapon systems. They don't come out and say that, but it's in AI too. AI, surveillance, cyber hacking, and cyber warfare, and then I think that directed energy weapons are involved. I have to look into it more. But I just want to make a note that if you go to WikiLeaks, and I'm going to go over this article, on another video. But if you go to WikiLeaks, you'll see that the United States is number one in non-directed, non-lethal weapons technologies, and Israel is actually number two in the world in non-lethal weapons technologies. And then comes Russia, then comes China, and then comes the UK, I think, after China. Maybe the UK is before China. I don't know. But it's those 1, 2, 3, 4, those 5. Yeah, but Israel is number 2 behind us. This could be the case not only for incapacitating agents and devices. It's just the relationships and like what they're telling us and not telling us, about what's going on in certain countries, and it's disgusting. It's just disgusting. This could be the case not only for incapacitating agents and devices, but also for performance-enhancing technologies. As a 2014 report by the National Academies readily acknowledged, this type of escalation is a realistic possibility with the potential to affect international security. The United States and its allies should therefore be cautious if they deem it necessary to establish this kind of deep surveillance. And on the international front, they should simultaneously support efforts to improve the Biological Weapons Convention to account for neuroweapons threats in the offing. Finally, they should keep in mind just how hard it is to regulate neuroscience and neurotechnology during this time of great discovery and expansion. Ethical ideals can be developed to shape guidelines and policies that are sensitive to real-world scenarios, But the flexibility of these approaches also means that they are not conclusive. Those charged with monitoring potential threats must be constantly vigilant in the face of changing technologies and fuzzy distinctions between medical and military uses, all while navigating the complexities of the healthcare industry, political and military ethics. Is there such a thing as that? Political and military ethics? That's just a joke. And international law. In light of the work ahead, it remains to be seen just how well the nations of the world will rally to face the neuroweapons threat. And then this is the hilarious part. This is funny right here. Authors note, the views expressed in this article do not necessarily reflect those of DARPA, the Joint Staff, Pentagon, or the United States Department of Defense. Funny, that's funny right there. The views expressed in this article do not necessarily reflect those of DARPA, the Joint Staff, or the United States Department of Defense. It tells you a lot right there, just in that little author's note, who is involved. Who is involved with neuroweapons? Who is involved in neurotechnologies? And this crap that is torturing us 24 hours a day. Let me make sure the video is still running. Yeah, I like this a lot better because I can just go for a long time. I probably will just go for like 10 more minutes and show y'all a couple more things because I did this whole thing, whole video already. But I'll be doing a lot more, you know, because I just got all this stuff, and I'll be doing a lot of videos and going through just putting out documents so that y'all can know where to look and you know what to show people if they don't believe you. And we keep connecting dots. Even though we've connected the dots of what's happening to us and what's going on, we still need to keep connecting the dots. When people put out information like this, when James G. Dorno puts information out like this, or you know, somebody, you know, that guy who said that they needed to test directed energy weapons on American citizens before they used it in war because that would be the only humane thing. I can't remember his name, but whenever, you know, anybody is putting out information, or we need to go through documentation and really connect all this stuff up so that people can see. And you know, I've made over 950 videos. I would think that that would be enough where, you know, I mean, I know it's not just one person. So many people have made so many videos about this, and just it's right in everybody's face. You know, but we're still having trouble, you know, getting help. Which my theory is kind of that a lot of people know by now, and there are a lot of whistleblowers coming forward and things like that. But I think people are very scared and don't know what to do, or they're involved in it and then they find out how big it is, and then they're scared and don't know what to do. So I think we're at a better point. Like I think in the dam we've got all these. This is a metaphor. Like in the dam, we've got all these holes where water's coming out of the holes, but it just hasn't burst yet. So we're trying to just beat it down till it bursts, until people have to do something about it. We've got to force society to act on us being murdered, which is insane. It's incredibly bizarre and outrageous. But, you know, I ask every day, you know, when I walk outside, you know, if everybody's on crazy pills. So, you know. Okay, let's see. I'm going to move on. I want to show you all this. I think this, I may just, I may save some of the articles that I got from Terry's website, some of the documentation. I may save for the next video and kind of wrap it up with this thing that I saw on, this is a DARPA, Defense Advanced Research Projects Agency, Breakthrough Technologies for National Security, March 2015. Yeah, I hope I didn't show you all this already, because I'm trying to remember if it was from my last video or this one. No, I don't think I've showed y'all this. Did I? Did I do it on this one? Well, we'll have to go over it again, and if I already went through this, I apologize, because my memory is just blown. Okay, yeah, I'm just gonna go ahead and wrap it up with this one, and I'll be able to make many more videos coming up, and just do different documents and put it out. But let me just read this last part, and then I'm going to close it out, guys. Assuring dominance of the electromagnetic spectrum. After decades in which the United States enjoyed overwhelming dominance of the electromagnetic spectrum, other nations are catching up quickly. After decades in which the United States enjoyed overwhelming dominance of the electromagnetic spectrum. Okay, just wanted to make sure I didn't close the video out. Other nations are catching up quickly, in part because of the growing commercial availability of remarkably powerful technologies. To reassert electromagnetic dominance, DARPA is developing advanced algorithms to identify and counter unanticipated enemy radars in real time. Fully configurable RF systems, radio frequency systems, so that communications, radar, and electronic warfare can share precious spectrum, and new defense-related electronic platforms for sensing and imaging. So that's important right there. The last thing I just read is really important, and this is it's like a DARPA just kind of showing off what kind of new technologies, but not going too in depth on them in 2015. And you can tell like these technologies have been out a long time, torturing people and torturing people's minds and nervous systems. So they always put out information way after they've already used it for years, tens and tens of years, for half a century, more than half a century. But I do want to read that again. So just this part. To reassert electromagnetic dominance, DARPA is developing advanced algorithms to identify and counter unanticipated enemy radars in real time. Fully configurable RF systems so that communications, radar, and electronic warfare can share precious spectrum, and new defense-related electronic platforms for sensing and imaging. So that would be directed energy weapon systems, would be included in that, in what they're saying, to conquer the electromagnetic spectrum. To have all this crap flying in our air and around us, and then some people being directly targeted by it, some people getting a lot of, non-ionizing microwave radiation from their computers and their iPhones. Like 5-year-old kids have iPhones now with just non-ionizing radiation going on their head, and they're just filling the air, from Gwyn towers that run under the ground that emit ELF, to the chemtrails that keep in microwaves. Like the chemtrails keep this, they can bounce stuff off of those chemtrails and down, or they can bounce stuff off of the ionosphere. And so basically we have this, up to the ionosphere, down to maybe underground, a little bit, well, ground level at least, and it's just filled up with these frequencies, a bunch of electromagnetic crap spraying all around us. Okay, let me go. I do want to do one last thing. I wanted to show y'all. Let me make sure the video is still going. Okay. Let me see if I can find it. Okay, here it is. I did want to read this because this makes it a lot more concrete. It's by order of the Secretary of the Air Force Policy Directive 91-4, and it was in 2011. Safety and directed energy weapons compliance with. Okay. And this is from, if you go to stopgangstalkingcrimes.com, Terry has just a lot in the documents section, just a lot of great documents, from the Army, from the Navy, and this is from the Air Force. And this makes it very, very concrete, that they do work with directed energy weapons. And I'm not going to read the whole thing, but I just want to read some of the more poignant parts. This directive establishes Air Force directed energy weapons safety policy. Directed energy weapons provide unprecedented capabilities and produce a broad spectrum of hazards. These hazards require specific safety measures to prevent directed energy weapon mishaps. This directive is consistent with the Department of Defense instruction. This publication applies to Air Force. Okay, let me go down. The Air Force will ensure directed energy weapons, or DEW, receive treatment distinct from conventional or nuclear weapons because of their characteristics, which may include speed of light delivery, range, and varied weapons effects. DEW, directed energy weapon, require a scalable approach to safety that is commensurate with the hazard potential of each weapon. 1.1. A DEW is a system using a beam of concentrated electromagnetic energy, including but not limited to lasers and high-power microwave systems. So let me read that again, just for all non-TIs who are like, those people they're crazy. A DEW, or directed energy weapon, is a system. So there are ground weapons, right? There are ground directed energy weapons. I saw one on my neighbor's house in the window with a square front when I lived in the house, but I think I was supposed to see that to think that he was doing all the 24-hour-a-day remote stuff. But this says, and they're directed energy weapon systems, which is the platform or the remote stations that they target us remotely with, from satellite to cell tower or satellite to Gwyn tower. Just like a signal goes to this phone. Like a signal goes to this phone, a signal can go to the human nervous system and brain using the right kind of catalyst. And also, I won't get into that, but there's a lot of different ways in redundant systems. And that's my theory, but I'll go into that on another video. I'll just go through like 3 implants, nanotechnology, and then brainwave signature are just 3 of them. And then there's some, nanoparticulates, things that a biofilm on the skin and things like that. But I'll go over some of that in further videos. So a DEW, a directed energy weapon, is a system using a beam of concentrated electromagnetic energy, including but not limited to lasers and high-power microwave systems, or atomic or subatomic particles, primarily as a direct means to kill, injure, disable, or temporarily incapacitate people, or destroy, damage, or temporarily incapacitate property or material. Kind of want to read that again, but I won't. I won't annoy you guys. Just some of these things are very, very important, and they're right out there. All the evidence that this is happening is right in front of our faces. It's not on mainstream news, because they are bought and paid for. Like even Fox, which says some I don't want to get into that, but mainstream news is lying. Is like doing a bunch of there's some real stuff in there, but it's not really telling people what's important and what can kill them, what the most dangerous things in society are. We're not talking about those things because people are scared and they're kind of just following along with everybody else. I know a lot of people don't like Alex Jones and maybe think he goes too far, but at least he's talking about some stuff. Some of the things that he says are very, very important, and there's a lot of corruption in society, and we've at least got to talk about it. Like every theory or whatever, by Alex Jones doesn't have to be right. At least he's talking about it. And they've talked about, see through the wall radar. David Knight talked about, what was it? It was the mind control documentation that was found at a DHS fusion center. So they talk about a lot of things, artificial intelligence. Acoustic weapons use sound across the entire frequency spectrum to kill, injure, disable, or temporarily incapacitate people. Acoustic weapons, although outside the joint definition of DEW, directed energy weapon, have effects and hazards more similar to DEW than to conventional weapons. Acoustic weapons will follow the same safety policy as DEW. And you can go to his site at gang stalking crimes, stopgangstalkingcrimes.com, and just go to documents, and there are just so many documents. There's a Navy document on bioeffects of microwaves. There's something by the Army, effects of microwaves, biological effects of microwaves. I might go over those documents. Since I have this kind of format, it's pretty exciting for me, and it's a lot easier than holding the phone and having to do all that crap. So it might actually be kind of fun and something for me to get my mind off my torture. So I'm kind of excited. So I'll be trying to find as many important documents as I can. And if you have something important, like important documentation, mostly important documentation or important articles, if you have something that you think is really important that people need to know about, please send it to me at vulcanwolverine@gmail.com. vulcanwolverine@gmail.com. If it's a really important documentation or something you want to get out there, and I'll do a video on it like this. But I think I'm gonna go ahead and wrap it up, guys. Let me see if the video is still going. It sure is. All right, we got this one. It's about an hour. That's cool. I didn't have to look at the phone time and say like, oh, is it 15 minutes yet? 30 minutes? Oh, I'll go to 45 minutes. I would have gone longer, but I already did this. I did this for 2 hours and none of it recorded. So I kind of went quick. The first one was better. I was being a lot funnier. Yeah. But yeah, it sucks. I was just like, when I saw that it didn't record. But all right, guys. So T-Day, August 29th. So much stuff going on. Chicago, Boston. Activism in Chicago, Boston. I think Oregon, Florida. Strikeout targeting, mainly in Atlanta, but in all these stadiums up the East Coast. So much stuff going on. If you have something that's going on that you want me to talk about, so that people will know to go out wherever your protest or your activism is, please let me know. Please email me. And then, barring that, I don't know what I'm going to do for T-Day. I just want to help other people because I don't have anything going on in my city or my state really that I know of. There's another TI in the city that I've hung out with a lot, and then maybe if he'll go out, we might go hand out some flyers. But what I might do, since I've got this set up, I might just do like kind of a live stream or something for 3 hours. I'm gonna be or a video, or I'll make another video that day. I'm gonna be doing something. So, if you are a target individual, you can't get to any of the activism or anything, make a video. Make a video about something, get some documentation, even if you have to make it with your camera phone, like I've been doing for years. Let's just get information out on T-Day and use it to its utmost. Alright, guys, I love y'all. My back is killing me. It hurts so bad. I got all these stupid things. But alright, guys, I will see y'all next time. Please take care. And I'll see you on the next one.